Trevor started the last game, obviously. Moving forward, do you think that Gardner and Trevor are still going to be splitting reps in practice and maybe in the games as well?
We're still going to handle it that way until we end up making the final decision. So right now, they're still status quo.
Is that just about competition, or?
Absolutely, yeah. We're trying to make everybody better, and we want competition in each and every position. And I think that both guys are getting better because of it.
Coach Meyer lamented the speed of the game and maybe not showing your hand as much. How have you changed, and what are you going to do differently this week?
We've had some conversations about it, and we'll see what happens in the game, basically.
Coaches are paranoid all over the place. Is there something that's happened in your past that maybe you lost or won a game, a season opener, based off of training camp or preseason or something like that?
I've been doing it a long time here, so I have a lot of experiences, as well as the other coaches that we have on the offensive staff. But I'll just say it doesn't really matter at this point. What matters is what we're going to do here, how we're going to handle it, and we've talked to Coach about it, and we've given our thoughts and his thoughts, and we'll continue in that direction.
Have you guys made a decision of who's going to start Monday night?
Not at this moment. But it looks, probably is going to be Trevor, but we're still continuing to talk about it.
How disappointed were you with the way the offense performed, especially the first team or the first and second team,
Yep.
and how unexpected was it for you?
It wasn't unexpected. I kind of felt the game would go a certain way. We were asking the guys to do certain things. I thought they played well in some areas. There's obviously some things we can do better. The protection of the quarterback is a major emphasis for us, and there's different reasons for it. When you say protection of the quarterback, everybody goes immediately to the offensive line, but it really takes all 11. The quarterback has to get it out on time. There's certain timing for that. Receivers have to be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. Running backs are charged with either getting out or protection. And then there is offensive line element as well. So all of us have to do better in that area, and that's why we have preseason games to see where we're at.
Last year, the Jaguars had the worst pass-run discrepancy in the NFL. And in many of the years in which, prior to past administration, they were usually in the bottom 3 or bottom 4 in that area. You have a reputation of being more balanced. It wasn't so much that way the last 2 years, but for the most part, you've been a pretty balanced guy. How much of an emphasis are you guys putting on trying to achieve balance in a league where throwing the ball is becoming more and more of a thing to do?
Yeah, definitely the league is changing. And the way that football is being played, even at the lower levels, is changing. So you kind of need to evolve with the game. But for me, the run game is always an important part of a football game. I think it allows you to exert your will on your opponent, and then it opens up things in a different way. You can spread them out, or you can try to bring them all in. And so there's just different philosophies with that. I always want to be as balanced as I can be. And the one thing we're looking for is always. And that a defensive opponent can hang their hat on. I don't want to get in those situations. If we're throwing it 90% of the time, then I think we're giving the opponent an advantage. So want to be as mixed as I can.
So much of being able of your intent to be balanced has to do with how good is the running game. Well, you've had Adrian Peterson in his peak years. You had Marshawn Lynch in his peak years. Now you're coming into a situation where a guy like James Robinson, very effective rookie season. Now you've got Travis there. Do you feel like with that 1-2 punch, it will give you a better chance to achieve the balance you're looking for?
Well, it always helps to have really good players. I can go back to Amon Green, Chester Taylor, Adrian Peterson, Marshawn. Had some really good backs. So I feel like we're really solid in that area here. James had a great season last year. Obviously, we added Carlos Hyde, who I think is going to be a really important piece of the puzzle for us, as well as Travis Etienne. So we're strong in that room. We're strong in the offensive line. So, I think that bodes well for us.
When you were in Detroit last year, what made you guys decide to switch Agnew from corner to wide receiver?
Basically, I think the easiest way is we saw his skill-making ability. His play-making ability and the skills that he had. And he had been a DB, but he also showed skills to with the ball in his hand as a returner, and so we were able to move him over. And I think you give Coach Patricia some credit for that, because he he kind of saw that as well, and he said, yeah, let's not use him on defense, let's move him over to offense. And I think it's been a really good move for him.
You see the same thing you saw in Detroit from what you've seen from him at wide receiver?
I do. When I got him in Detroit, I saw a guy that was really raw, that had the potential, and we basically had him for a year and a half, I would say, as part of that transition. So each and every day, things were new for him, and as he's come here, I think he's continued to grow. So, when you're new at a position, sometimes it can be difficult to pick up some of the stuff, and I think he has really, some natural skills. Obviously, he's got really good hands. He's got great moves, and he can get his own self open. So now, when you put a body in front of him, that's where he really had to work. And I think that what he did there in Detroit, and then what he's done here with Sanjay has really helped him.
How many plays would you say Trevor held the ball too long? And is that a difficult thing to get that 3-second clock installed in a rookie's head?
Well, I didn't necessarily say Trevor held the ball too long, but
I asked, I said, how many plays did you think he held
yeah.
too long?
There's probably a few, but I think the whole game, the whole game experience for him was a really important part for him to have. He's just had NFL training camp, NFL OTAs, so that was his first opportunity to get in there where actually those guys could tackle him, right? So, that really changes the dynamic of it. And, so he'll continue to get better each and every time that he goes out there.
I know you said he probably will start on Monday. If you could put a number on it, expectations of, obviously he had 2 series this past Saturday night. How many series do you think you guys will play him against the Saints?
Yeah, I'm just going to let Coach handle that, So when we have those conversations, then I'll be able to be definitive with you. I know what he already has said, so I just want to make sure that we're on the same page with it. So I don't want to give you any numbers at this point.
How, can you at least tell us this? How much is whatever game plan you map out in terms of snaps is affected by the fact that possibly 2 of your offensive linemen will not be there?
Well, that can happen at any time in the season, right? So, we really have a lot of respect for Shatley. We have a lot of respect for Ben Barch, and I think they've done a good job for themselves. So we'll play it as a normal game, and we won't have any concerns with those guys being in there.
Does Trevor, is he pretty advanced in terms of, for a rookie, attempting throws that maybe some other rookies wouldn't attempt? Am I explaining that right? You know what I mean? Because Marvin Jones said that sometimes he's made some throws that he was like, whoa, I don't know that another quarterback would have tried that. And I know some of those could be stupid attempts, but
Right.
Does he have the confidence?
It's a hard question for me to answer when they had Brett Favre and Matthew Stafford, So I've seen some crazy throws attempted, But I've been really impressed with him, and the time to take the chances and the time to learn what you can get away with is in practice. We have turned the ball over too many times in practice, but that's if we're gonna do it and kind of learn the NFL game, I think it's important for him to do it here. And he's shown. You guys have been out there. He's shown some really special ability with some of those throws. We just got to continue to work on the decisions.
Last one more.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, you want to finish?
I was going to say, the willingness to make those throws, do a lot of rookies not have that? You know what I mean? Does he have it?
I think it's really just I think it's mentality, of the players. Some guys are looser players and will attempt to try those things, and some of them are a little bit safer. And I'd rather have it where you have that aggressive mentality, and then we can kind of pull the reins back a little bit. So I really like what he's been trying to do.
A lot of outsiders, maybe not in this room, but put a lot of emphasis on reps 1s versus 2s. Is that totally overrated, that who's getting reps with what? Is a rep? Does it matter if you're with the 2 offensive line, the number 2 receivers, or guys who might get cut?
Any rep that you can get is important. And we value every rep. What I tell these guys, I just was telling them this morning that everything is being evaluated. We evaluate how they're walking down the hall, how they come to meetings, are they on time, what's their demeanor. Everything, because we're trying to get the best 53 guys that we can put on the field. So every rep that they get out there, whether it's with the first group, whether it's with the last group, you shouldn't be counting lines. You should be making your rep count.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Thank you.